Is the US government cracking down on Harvard? Or is this just political theater dressed up as justice? What's really behind the sudden federal probe into one of America's top universities? There's a political storm brewing over the ivy-covered walls of Harvard University, and it's heating up fast. The US government has officially demanded Harvard hand over all its hiring and admissions data, and that's just the beginning. They're also ordering the university to bring in an external watchdog that must satisfy federal standards. Sounds intense, right? So, what's this all really about? Well, it started with growing outrage over anti-Semitism on campus, especially after the attack on Israel. Some major donors, including one from former Ohio Governor John Kasich's own hometown, have pulled their funding in protest. Their message? Harvard isn't doing enough to combat anti-Semitism. Kasich says the government's move might seem aggressive, but it reflects real frustration. His take? Let the donors walk, let parents and students decide if Harvard is still the place for them, but tread carefully when it comes to federal overreach. The real flashpoint here is the scope of the audit. Harvard's president, Alan Garber, admits that some of the government's demands are aimed at addressing anti-Semitism. But, he says, the majority of the requests look more like the government trying to tighten its grip on one of the world's most prestigious universities. And that's where things get political. Tom Perez, a former Justice Department official with decades of experience under both Republican and Democratic administrations, says what's happening now is not standard procedure. In his words, this isn't an honest investigation, this is political blackmail. He says that in the past, under presidents like Reagan, Bush, and Obama, investigations were respectful and collaborative. Universities were treated as partners, not enemies. Letters were sent. Conversations were had. Investigations searched for the truth, not headlines. But this, Perez argues, is something else entirely. It's a ready, fire, aim approach. Harvard might have the resources to fight back, but what about smaller schools? What happens when they face this kind of pressure? Instead of focusing on rising grocery prices, skyrocketing egg costs, and the crumbling of people's retirement funds, some critics argue that the White House is picking a very public fight with a university, and distracting from the issues that hit closer to home for everyday people. That said, Harvard has taken steps to address anti-Semitism. Could it do more? Sure. Should it be punished with sweeping federal action? That's where opinions start to divide sharply. Kasich makes another point. Across the country, from Ohio to elite schools like Yale, there's growing concern that students feel silenced in classrooms. Some say they're afraid to speak their minds because professors might grade them based on politics, not performance. At the core of this controversy lies a critical question. Are universities still spaces for open thought and debate, or are they becoming echo chambers? And is the government helping, or harming, the cause of free expression? In the end, both sides seem to agree on one thing. Anti-Semitism is a serious issue, and universities must address it. But how far should the federal government go to enforce that? And at what point does oversight become overreach? This story is still unfolding, and it might just end up in court. Movie camera, so, what do you think? Is this about justice, or control? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're into deep dives, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of today's biggest stories. Would you like me to add a voiceover script, B-roll suggestions, or caption text to go with this for YouTube production?